Hey guys, Rabbit Roo here, and welcome back to another cast of Starcraft Broodwar action. Today, bringing you something slightly different. This is a best of three set from the No Worries Broodwar Ladder League. It's basically a group of foreign Starcraft players who've gotten together to compete in a tournament style and to take a break from playing regular ladder. So the guys use ladder ranks to pair themselves up into the appropriate groups, and that's more or less how it works. So in today's game, we have a Zerg versus Zerg from the E-rank division of this group. So on the bottom in the green, we have a player by the name of Nom Destroyer. I think he's also referred to as Deadinfested. I've actually played him before in the Coach Pupil League, and in the sort of charcoal coal kind of color we have I want to dare say Airneanach. I think that's the pronunciation. We'll have to see. So some Zerg versus Zerg action, man. Always a fun game. Looks like they're playing on a fun map as well. I actually don't recognize this map at all. I'm gonna have to figure out and read the replays before I open them going forward. I just assumed I'd be landing on a polypoid or something like that, but definitely not. This map I am not familiar with at all. Let's have a look at it. Alright, so it looks like a big 4-player map. You've got 4 spawning positions over here. I want to say I do recognize it. I've seen it used in matches before, and the name will come to me eventually. But it's actually good. It's fun to see games played on unusual maps. Anyway, so what starts have we seen here? Sorry, I've gotten a little bit distracted, but it looks like we have on this side from Airneanach, we have a pool and then hatch and then a second base in hatch, or second hatch in base. And on the other side from Destroyer, we have a hatch in the natural, followed by pool. So I think it was a hatch first built, and then on this side we have a pool into in-base hatch. This matchup, honestly, I am not an expert in at all. I've never seen this map. Now I can tell you for sure, I've never seen this deck, as this must be a new map that people are using. It's very, very exciting to see new maps in Broodwar. Anyway, so Airneanach sending some of his Zerglings down to scout. Both overlords went the wrong way, so nobody has an overlord in anybody's base yet. And we are going up to 3 hatcheries on Destroyer's side, but he doesn't have any units at this stage. So this unit's going to get some scouting. The Zergling is going to get some scouting. Is he going to get some damage though? Let's see. There's absolutely nothing here, but there are 4 sets of lings on the way, so this shouldn't be a problem at all. In fact, they've popped just in time. The Zergling's not long for this world, unless he runs away. Neither player has researched ling speed yet. As we can see here, Destroyer doesn't have his gas. Airneanach does, which means that perhaps he is going to be progressing to lair tech sooner rather than later. With the 160 gas in the bank, it's a mistake that he's not spent it on something as of yet. You know, there we go. Okay, so the lair's a little bit late, but it's there on time. Apologies. I think a lair costs 150 gas. For some reason, I thought it was 100, so I thought he already had the gas. Not a Zerg player here, guys. Not a Zerg player. That was beautifully built. So in he gets. So we got lots of lings. We've got speed on the way for these lings. We've only got an extractor on this side and a sunken, so I'm expecting a huge ling attack here coming in from Airneanach. And I apologize, mate, when you watch this and I've said your name wrong. I honestly hope you can forgive me. Alright, so I think Destroyer could be okay here if he positions his lings. Oh yeah, this is plenty. Positions his lings around the sunken. I think he should be fine. This is good. Putting them on the bridge creates a little bit of like a natural choke, and he's getting rid of some of these eggs, I think for that reason, just to ensure that it's going to be easier for him to control this round if any battles occur here. More lings coming down. This is just looking like it's going to be a giant Ling fight. However, we do have a lair. I don't see a spire. And on this side, I don't see a lair at all. So, very much a Ling committed build from Destroyer. He's not watching, and the Sunken is going to die. Oh man, he was too slow on that. This is just Lings chowing each other. I think Airneanachs now have speed. Destroyers do not. Is that a Hydras den? Oh wow. Okay, so the transition for him is no lair tech. We're going into Hydras. The transition for Airneanach is still no spire, still no natural. So the longer this game goes, the better it is for Destroyer, although he's got 2 drones working at this natural, which is perhaps a little bit low. It's now getting 3 creeps in an evolution, so choking this up quite nicely. And then he's going into Hydras. My concern for Airneanach here is there's no progression. He's got speedlings, and that's it. He's not droning, he's not teching. Although, yeah, okay, so here's the Hydras den as well. Are we both Hydras denning? Oh, wow. Okay. You don't see this every day. I have a friend on the CPL who is a big fan of Hydras built, although it's not really part of the meta. But it could be quite exciting to see what these players do with it. You know, if we're going to see some Hydras fighting Hydras. The econs are so low on both players. To afford the range upgrade, it's 150 gas. To afford the speed upgrade, I think it's also 150 gas. It's expensive. So to go into Lurkers, you're going to have to get a lair, which I see Destroyer is now doing. So anybody's game at this stage, impossible to predict or call exactly what's going to happen. I think this is a pretty strong fortified position of Lings. And I presume the next thing we will be seeing is some Hydras popping out. Here we go. Okay, so we've got our first Hydras on the map over here. We're going to have a nice big Ling fight over here, which I think Airneanach will take. And Destroyer does well to pull back, although he loses a few more Lings there unnecessarily, maybe. And where are the first Hydra lists of Destroyer? Seems to just be going up to getting his upgrades, adding a few drones, and that's it. And on this side, Airneanach's droning up a little more, which I think is good now that he's got his natural online. I think he would do well to get to maybe possibly even 20 or 25 drones. But let's see how we go. Alright, so this Overlord is going to... No! Don't let him live! He's going to get him. He's going to get him. He's going to get him. 1, 2, 3. Gone. Oh, and that hurts. In a game of low econ, a lost Overlord is just a very, very, very painful blow. Okay, so arguably the lairs were pointless for both players because unless they want to play Lurkers, the lair doesn't give them any advantage. You could have just got your upgrades from your Hydras den that you're busy with at the moment, and you could have just gone with a 3-hatch Hydra build with Ling speed. But nonetheless, I guess with the lair in play, it does give the opportunity to tech switch into Mutalisk maybe at a later point in the game. So it's not the worst thing to have it, but it's just, if you know, both players now are banking hordes of gas. So that perhaps is another thing they should look at, is if he's now got 2 drones on gas over there. Destroyer got none on gas there, 2 over there. But if you're not going to use your gas, just put everybody on minerals. The Hydras don't take a lot of gas. I think they cost 25 gas each. Alright, so what are we doing here? Are we setting up for a fight? Supplies are dead even, but Destroyer has more drones. Airneanach has more army. This game is in like a little sort of quiet patch here. We're calm before the storm. I think these Lings have been positioned here for a run by. So if they want to run past, once he moves his army down. I think that would be the reasoning for this, or perhaps to get some vision if he wants to expand. We're putting down a few sunken colonies. Neither player is concerned about switch into Spire. I think they're quite committed now to the Hydra Ling play. And I think these fights, when they do eventually happen, are going to be pretty exciting. So while we're in a lull, let me just tell you a little bit more about the No Worries ladder. It's basically a group of coach-pupil league players. The community is very much a Discord orientated community. There are well over a few hundred players that actively participate, practice, coach, advise each other, that are involved in various Discords, of which the NWL is one. And this tournament is happening at the moment. And it's a great opportunity for new players if you want to learn the game. It's a great opportunity for players that have got a little bit of experience, that want to just play more tournaments, to meet more players to practice against, and just a great opportunity to play Starcraft and spend time with like-minded people. So I think it's a wonderful thing that that this tournament and this league has been set up. It's brand new. This is the very first version of this league. I think it did replace something quite similar. But I never participated in it. It was called the Rookie Star League, so I don't know much about it. What I do know is that this hatchery of destroyers is in a world of pain, because it has been scouted by the Overlord, and therefore it's either going to die or somebody is going to fight. I don't see anybody climbing in here, so I reckon it is going to die. Rip hatchery, rip. I think the one thing I would have said there is that Destroyer should have cancelled it rather than losing the minerals there. Alright, so we are just building up for one huge Hydra Lurker fight. You've got some lings here. This is so funny. So he's got his little pod of lings there for a run by, and he's got his little pod of lings here. I don't know if it's for a run by or if it's for a what, but here they come! And they just got absolutely slaughtered by a very, very, very big group of Hydras. Alright, so we're moving out. Here we go. This is going to be quite a juicy fight. I like Destroyer's chances. I think in terms of his macro, he's been stronger all game. He went for the natural for his second hatch as opposed to an in-base. He's always had more drones throughout the whole game. I think if he stages his units here correctly, gathers them all together and rallies all his hatcheries forwards to reinforce, then he will take this game. But he just needs to control his army here pretty well. There's nothing, the Airneanach Hydras are sitting back, they're not engaging, and I think it's to try and get sunken support, but I think it's a mistake because these Hydras have got range, they've got speed, and okay, he is pulling back, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for much longer. Nobody's building anything behind this. Destroyer's not building. He's got idle lava. He needs to make Hydras quick. Okay, there we go. So he's macroed around a 5. How many could he macro? Idle lava. Okay, so he's missed 3. He's missed a round of 3 lava over there. He's taking another hatch over here. He could potentially add another hatchery as well because of what he's trying to complete now at this stage of the game. Here's the hatchery there with an idle lava. But he needs to, let's see where these are rallying to. Okay, so they are set to rally forward, which is good. I think these buildings are being, he's maybe thinking of knocking them down because they're creating a bit of a obstruction for his units. I'm not sure. Okay, so he's set up, and I think this is just inevitable because Airneanach can't get out. He can't expire. He can't expand. He can't expire. The one thing he could do is he could drop down a Spire now and build a few Mutalisks and send those Mutalisks into his base to kill drones and to force some Hydralisks back to buy himself some time. Short of that, he honestly does not have a lot of options. He's morphing Lurkers. Wow, I cannot speak today. He's morphing Lurkers, but there's Overlords right here. I think the one thing that Destroyer could do as a response to this is just to send more down. I don't know if his overlords have speed or not, but that would be a good idea, just to have some backups in terms of that. And I think this is a good idea. This is a Destroyer drone, so he may even add a hatchery there for quicker access, but more just as a block so that Airneanach can't expand. Look, now the player's going to run out of money soon. I mean, the drone saturation is very low. But with this contain, Destroyer could just drop down hatcheries everywhere and could just drone up. I think the Lurkers here in a pod are just there to... okay, well done. Just there to potentially pick off some units cheaply. But we're going to need to pick off an Overlord here, which is the plan! Oh, very close. Very close. And because the Overlord pulled back... Oh, this is very interesting. Maybe the Lurkers will be a difference maker. Who knows? I would definitely be sending some more Overlords, like I said earlier, if I was Destroyer. So let's see if he's moving any. He's got 5 over there. There's another one over here. Nothing over there. One over there. So there's one over here as well. This one could move down and give him a bit more. Because that Overlord now has disappeared. Oh no, don't engage. So these Lurkers are actually proving to be very valuable, and he's morphing even more. Wow, this is very interesting. You don't see this in ZVZ every day. This is a pod of 7, 8 Lurkers. So this Hydras fighting these Lurkers is kind of like Marines fighting Lurkers. I think you would need something that has a little bit more splash damage potential. See how they tear through these Hydras, because there's no Overlord here, although he's got one up here, as I pointed out, but he doesn't seem to know that he's there. And so this fight back from Airneanach is very impressive. He's catching up in supply. If he build a few more Overlords of his own now, which he's busy doing, that would help a lot. There goes, he's picked off some more Overlords. Okay. So Destroyer's response to this is Queens. He wants to spawn broodlings on the Lurkers. I honestly would not know if that's even possible, because I've never seen it happen before. Okay, so we're up to Hive here. I think maybe Queens is a viable choice. Okay, he did remember now that he has that Overlord. But yeah, it's probably a little too late. He needs to add a few more. All this gas that Destroyer's floating. There's got to be a way to spend that. Potentially now, it would be a good idea to switch into meters, because yes, he's got a lot of Hydras, but it nullifies the Lurkers. You can kill drones; they are very mobile, and I think you've got high ground terrain to abuse on both sides of the maps. So I think Destroyer is potentially missing a trick here by not switching into, or at least using Mutalisks as a support. And that way he could spend a lot of his gas as well. But so we're ensnaring with the Queen. We're not spawning broodlings, so my assumption of what his plan is incorrect. Yes, okay, I think ensnare does impede and slow down the attack of a group of units that you hit it on. It doesn't last particularly long, as far as I know. But let's see. See what happens. Alright, so he's got some Overlords around. He's got some vision of what's happening. The contain remains. In terms of Airneanach's plan, how is he going to break the contain? It doesn't really look like that's his plan. It's just kind of turtle forevermore. He seems to be doing the Spire, which could very well be a good idea. So let's see if he starts to push out some Mutalisks. Any changes in tech here? No, just a Nidus Canal, which is interesting because where does he want to try and link to? Everything he has is here except this, which Zerg's got. Airneanach's got no way of getting to that because of this block, and he has no air units of any kind. So let's see what happens now. I think we're building up to the big fight. Let's see what happens. Alright, so a parasite. That's actually a pretty good idea because it now gives him vision on how many lurkers there are. He's also now, because of the parasite on the lurker, it's no longer undetectable. So that's a nifty idea, but he would have to throw the parasite on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lurkers for that to work, and he'd have to have vision of all 7 in order to be able to throw the parasite down, which, if an overlord gets in range of these hydras, it will end him pretty quickly. So let's see what happens now. I'm really hoping that we see a nice big fight, but it's difficult to see how Destroyer actually breaks Airneanach here. One, two, I heard 2 happen. Let's kill more overlords. 3. He's got 3, which is pretty good. Those Scourge didn't do anything. What the hell is going on here? Did he sneak a Nidus Canal in? That is insane! Oh my god, Eric's response is so funny. I just did not see that coming. That was so funny. Alright, we actually, I don't do this often, but we have to rewind this. I totally missed what happened here. Alright, so we need to find the moment. There's a spire here. Okay, so I pointed out earlier with a high level of ignorance. There's a Nidus Canal, right? So my understanding of Zerg is you have to just build the other part on creep. Does he just need vision? He doesn't need a drone. Does he just need vision of that spot? Oh, so the Overlord just needs to see it. Oh my word, I did not know that. Hang on. Switch off. So if okay, so he can place the second half of the Nidus on this creep because his Overlord has vision of it. Oh man, that is genius. I've just learned something today. I did not know you could do that. What a brilliant idea. And he was just stalling all the time, playing with the queens. He doesn't see this coming, and then boom! Here come your cracklings. Wow. That was, oh man, that was so cool. Oh, and Edic's response is brilliant. Oh, what a fun first game. Alright, let's move on to the second one in the set. Okay, so it turns out the first map was called Blade Runner 1.4, and this map is something I've also not heard of before. So this seems to be a customized map pool specifically for this tournament. That is actually very, very cool. Alright, so let's see what starts we have here on these two players. So we know Destroyer, aka Deadinfested. We know Airneanach. He's playing in pink this time. Destroyer sticking with green. We seem to be starting with a Scout, which is an Overlord, which is normal. We are going for a pool first on Airneanach's side. We are going for an Overlord, and then are we going to get an over pool, or are we going to go a 12 hatch? Let's see on Destroyer. So it looks like a 12 hatch in the natural again. Okay, so he likes natural expansion in this matchup, it seems to be. Alright, so we are with our pull down, popping out a pair of lings. And it looks like the first little bit of harassment. Bad drone, no gas. Lol. Okay. These guys are clearly having a lot of fun, which is great to see. It's great to see. You should be enjoying your games. So this time, Airneanach is taking his second hatch in his natural, which I think is a good adjustment. We have a first little bit of harassment here coming in from Airneanach, and the lings pop out on time from Destroyer, and I think we'll hold this off pretty easily. That's fine. A little bit of early action going on here. Oh, are they going to get in? No, I think he's going to get us around here. This is pretty good. Zergling micro from both players. And he's killed that creep colony. Good job. However, there are only 2 pretty pinklings left, and there are many, many more greenlings. We are banking hordes of cash here, so the micro does come at a price. The builds of both players have all but fallen apart. We don't see a progression to gas. We don't see a progression to link speed. We don't see another hatchery. We don't see too much of anything. So we're getting a gas here. Sorry, it's down, not up. And we have a hatchery here. We have a lot of extra drones. So Airneanach's got more drones than Destroyer by quite some distance, but he's got more units by quite some distance. So over time, that starts to favor the player with more drones. But for now, I would say that Destroyer is ahead, at least from an army point of view. He's droning up, which is good. He's got his third hatchery down, which is good, and he spent all his money, which is also very, very good. So he's getting back on track, and it's probably then ahead in all aspects. Airneanach needs to be spending his money, and he's getting his gas going now. So we would see sling speed, or we would see lair, or we would see the money go somewhere. We need a third hatchery, is what I would say, potentially even a fourth. I'm a fan of lots of hatcheries in this game, especially at low levels. It's difficult to always hit your macro. Having those extra lava is always pretty handy. So, are we going to have a big Zergling versus Zergling fight with two Sunkens to support? Doesn't look like all the Lings are engaging, but I think pink will have the edge, and green does well to pull away. Oh, catches some. Okay, so that's good. On the drone count, we evened out. Airneanach spending his money nicely now. He's got an Evo, he's got another Sunken, more Lings. Mining his gas but not spending it on anything. I think in both games I've seen sort of a common theme where players are gathering resources almost for the sake of gathering them, as opposed to as a means to executing a specific build. So the piece of advice that I would give both players in the set is to always use your gas as a guide for when you need to make things. So as soon as you have enough gas for your lair, then you build your lair. Or as soon as you have enough gas to do your first +1 upgrade, then that's what you do. Whatever your build order is, your gas bank, or your amount of gas that you've banked up, is always your win, right? And if you're sitting with unspent gas, it means you've missed your timings to execute your build. So at this stage of the game, it's more than feasible that the Spire would have already started if other timings had gone well. And getting supply block, not hitting your overlords, etc., is how your minerals and gas banks can start to grow. So some of the many new things that you learn when you are learning this game, and some of the challenges you need to overcome, is doing something as simple as learning to spend your money and knowing exactly what you want to spend your money on and in what order. And it looks like Airneanach, of the two players, is struggling with that a little bit more. But that being said, both players have banked up unspent gas, and if this is not a mutilous build, that gas is not going to get spent. We have an Overlord getting shot in the base, a little unfortunate. Second gas coming up. So once again, you would think if two extractors have come up, the players are working towards a build where they're going to spend gas. So one of these drones, can they please become a Spire? Can somebody create a Spire? Or a tech tree that will result in the gas being spent. Let's see. So we've built an extractor and we don't have drones on it. So you find yourself wondering what was the reason, unless, I mean, he's probably just maybe forgot. There we go. Alright, so we've got now even more gas being mined by Destroyer. So it would be interesting to see how does this factor into his build strategy. Queen's Nest? Okay, so we might just be rushing straight to Hive Tech then, based on that. That's interesting. We have a Hydras then. So Airneanach is on 1. Okay, so he's on 2 extractors, but he's mining from one of them. And he doesn't have a lot of gas banked up, so what I would suggest he should do, if he's going for Hydras, then have 4 hatcheries. So you can go with a 4-hatch Hydra build, because 1 gas is enough to sustain, or even possibly 2 gas might be needed in time to sustain a non-stop production of Hydralisks from 4 hatcheries at his current drone count. So we've got a supply block for Destroyer. I think he's lost an Overlord that was scouting around here somewhere. The Overlords have got speed for Airneanach, looking basically at what's happening. So purely for scouting purposes, which I think speed is good. Destroyers don't have speed as of yet. I'm curious to see why this Queen's Nest was built. I don't see queens. I have missed the Spire being built though, because Scourge are on the way and Mutalisks are on the way. So where? There it is. Okay. So he's built the Spire and he's sending Mutalisks. Does that mean Airneanach is in trouble? Because he certainly does not have a Spire. However, he has gone very heavily into this Hydras build. So perhaps a couple of spores just to reduce the impact of Mutalisk harassment would be a good move. But this is a lot of Hydralisks and Zerglings moving across the map. And I'm concerned for Destroyer that this might actually just kill him. We will have to see. Okay, so he's rushing to Hive Tech. He also has Mutalisks. No, doesn't also have Mutalisks. He only has Mutalisks and Zerglings. He doesn't have Hydras. He has a Tech Edge. So let's see how this fight goes. Alright, so he's going to kill the Overlord. Rip, Overlord. That was nice. It was good to meet you. This is quite a lot of meters too, actually. It's got, I think he's got 8 or 9, which is plenty. This attack is staged here. In other words, they haven't moved as of yet. Seems to be consolidating his forces. Again, got tons of cash and lots of idle lava. Need to be hotkeying those hatcheries and need to be building your units non-stop. Okay, Lurkers are out. Yeah. You've got spores, you've got overlords, and you've got mutalisks. I don't think Lurkers are a good call. I think Hydras would be the way to go. You want the anti-air against these mutalisks. So I wouldn't be making Lurkers if it was me. Somebody's making a Spire now, which is Destroyer. But he already has a Spire, so now he's got 2 Spires. Why did he have 2 Spires? I don't know. I think he wants to make Guardians or something. So that's why the Greater Spire. Are we going to build up to another big attack, maybe? These meters are going to do nothing against Hydras. It's going to get chowed. And this is a juicy fight. The Sunkens, though. The Sunkens are doing serious work. The Lurkers have popped in here now. I might end up eating my words about the value of the Lurkers because they are doing huge damage here. There are no overlords. I think maybe this overlord would give vision to these mutas. Yes, I heard the sounds of Lurkers dying, and that was actually really well held. I think Airneanach is in trouble now. He's down on supplies, down on drones. I think Destroyer would be well served to actually get out onto the map and harass Airneanach's base. Knocks off another Overlord. Very nice. I definitely like this game for Destroyer. I think he's in a really good position. So let's see what he does with his mutas. He could be building more units, whether it's lings, whether it's mutas. Spend your money, boys. Spend your money. Get that lava working. Make something. Whatever it is, just make it. Spend your money. Okay, so here they are. Okay, so that's the reason for the Greater Spire. We're getting some Guardians. I don't know. I mean, you've got 1 spore. I don't know if it's really necessary to spend your money on Guardians. They're not going to be... Okay, they'll be a little bit better against the Hydralis, maybe. But it's a lot of money. I think it's 150 gas and 100 minerals. And you've already spent 100 minerals and 100 gas on a Mutalist. So you're looking at a 200, 250 units. And they get melted so quickly. Well, let's see how this goes. Also, targeting down an extractor, maybe not the best bet. Get rid of the spore. for the spawning pool, or a more high value target. Here come the Hydras, and I think they're going to clean this up. He's pulled away, but they're so slow! Alright, well done. Well done. So he wants to try to abuse this position. We're using the range advantage of the Guardians. It's not a bad idea. Again, Destroyer's got a gas to minerals deficit that's killing him. I think my advice if this happens to you as a Zerg player is to chuck down another 2 hatcheries at a gas base and start to build a few more drones, and in the meantime use your idle lava to make Zerglings. But to have the money just sitting there as banked up money is probably the worst of a number of bad options. Okay, this is now Guardians versus Hydralisks. I don't think that these Guardians are going to win, but let's see. There's no upgrades on these Guardians. 2 Hydras. And the Scourge of counter. Oh, that's a very good counter. Well done. Very well handled by Airneanach there. And now the Spore's hitting them as well. Where did all the other Hydras go? What are you guys doing here? Come help. Okay, so he's killing that Spore. Alright, so that's not a threat anymore. And now he's knocking over the Evo chambers. There are no upgrades going on at the moment. Trying to flank, but I must admit the range advantage that they have is helpful, but if you can get them, it just evaporates. They've got like no HP. No wonder nobody ever uses bloody Guardians. They're useless. Alright, so here we go. Here's some Scourge. This should clean them all up, or at least a fair amount of them. Damn, the Scourge is a tilting unit. You spend a bajillion gas, you get yourself some Scourge, they hit these guys, and then they're still alive. I mean, oh my god, that's so tilting. And it's the Hydra Den, which is a good target! But he didn't get it. 194 HP left. Alright, so we are spending money on Zerglings. Or these are perhaps the Zerglings that were built in the beginning. We need to just keep making things and attacking. Because the Hydra numbers have been thinned considerably. These Lings, especially if they have Adrenal, which if he's got Hive, I'd imagine would have, are going to be a big threat now. He just needs more. He just needs a huge number. So if he had 400 minerals instead of 2,500, it would mean he'd have something like 60 Lings on the field. And they would have just tidied this up. So again, the power of just making something with your money is once again very well emphasized in that example. Okay, so what do we have going on in the production tab? Destroyer's making more Lings. He's now just finished with his adrenal upgrade. Airneanach's making 7 Lurkers, I presume just to protect himself against the Ling flood, and his own Lings. So nobody's making Mutas anymore, nobody's making Hydras anymore. We've got some patrolling Scourge over here. So our players did eventually both get to Spy Attack. And now we are... Oh, we're going to do the Nidus trick again? I have to keep an eye out for this damn Nidus trick this time. I can't miss it again. That is a lot of Lurkers, man. Gee whiz. Alright, so Hydra Lurker is moving out. Airneanach is actually quite far ahead again. I think just because he's got more macro, although he's got far fewer drones. But we've got 1, 2, 3. So it's 4 hatch. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's got 4 hatch production, and he's got 1, 2, 3 hatch production and a bank. Okay, so that's really the difference between the players is Airneanach's got more production and he's spending his money. And so he's just got more stuff, regardless of what that stuff is and how suitable it might be for the fight. That being said, these Lurkers are going to be very hard to break if his plan is to set up a contain right here, which might be what he's trying to do, and that's what he's going to do. Alright, so now the question if you're a destroyer is what do you make to break this? If it's me, it's 25 Mutalisks or so. Maybe 25 is much, but it's a control group or control group and a half, maybe 2 control groups of Mutalisks. Because I've got myself 3 bases, I should have a drone transfer that I should have done as well. And that's how I could potentially break this, getting an Overlord. I do my Overlord upgrades, so range and speed, and try and put them in position to grief this, because these guys are going to wreck these Tunkins. Okay, that's gone. This Nidus is here. And this Nidus is going to die. the Nidus is not your issue. The Sunken can't see you. You've got no detection here. So is he responding? Or is he just letting these Lurkers do their thing here? I think these Lurkers might be a big problem. Destroyer's not really doing anything. We have the same amount of drones, but a huge supply difference. Our friend Airneanach has got himself supply blocked. He is making 4 overlords, so that won't be a problem for much longer. Still have our patrolling Scourge. We have, oh my gosh, we have so many sunken colonies. This is so many dead drones. And this is just basically a contain. So he cannot transfer drones because they will all die. He can move overlords here, but he knows potentially that the Scourge will come and kill it. So it's a real headache. Oh, here's overlords just parked off here. This is a real headache, these Lurkers being put right here. Okay, so the Ultras are a good option to kill these. Guardians would be a good option to kill these. The most important thing is, will he have detection? We'll have to wait and see. Now, Airneanach's done a very good job to spend these minerals. He's got a little bit of a gas bank, but that's really not a big deal. And I like this game for him now. Really, I do. He's taken another base over here, so he's on his original natural main, and he's got a 3rd and 4th coming up simultaneously. I think using this contain as an opportunity to expand is a good call. We've got Devourers. Wow, this set really has had everything. It is it's been very good. Okay, so these Guardians are maybe what he was hoping he could use to pip these Lurkers. They are down to 3, so I must have missed 1 or 2 of them getting taken out. He wouldn't have an issue moving his Overlord there. His Overlord there would have sight of this. The Hydras would not, I think, be able to get up there without running into sunken range. So I think he probably already has what he needs to take care of those Lurkers, to be perfectly honest with you. We've got some over here as well. So he really has done his utmost to create an inconvenient little containment across the 3 exit areas for his opponent Destroyer. So good, nice play from Airneanach. Very good example of containment. This is not good. Oh man, just put him here. They have to go into range of the Sunkens. If you put the Guardians here, that's got to be the approach. And similarly, you can just stick a Guardian here with an Overlord, and although I don't know, maybe he doesn't know that these guys are here. Alright, so the risk, of course, is... by the way, guys, Devourers is just the worst unit in the game. They do nothing. So if you're wanting to protect them against Scourge, your Guardians with against Scourge, Devourers are not going to be your answer. However, he's getting it closer now. It's down to 2. I think just here his plan is, instead of just moving them into a slightly different position, is to add more in terms of critical mass. Also a fair choice. We've got more. Oh my god, we've got more Lurkers. That one unfortunately parked in a bad spot. So did that one. But I reckon Airneanach's going to move in for the kill now, any second here. This has really been an entertaining series with so much dynamic play. I never see Hydras used in this match. This is why I cast series from all levels, because you're just really blown away by the creativity and the fun that these players have, and it's well worth watching and supporting. Alright, so Guardians against Hydras. Let's go. I think this could be a very good thumbnail. Actually, there's a lot of thumbnails in this game. Oh, now the Ultras are out! Of course, because we haven't had enough unit variety yet. So we need Ultras and Guardians and Devourers and Lurkers. Larry the Lurker has been kicking ass this whole game, although the critical mass around the Lurkers is slowly but surely being reduced. Oh dear. Okay, so he can see the Lurkers, he can see them, and one's gone. Another one's gone. Wow, there's... Oh my god, those Ultras just evaporated in a matter of seconds. That was extraordinary. Alright, I think Airneanach's smelling blood here now. More lurkers. Those ultras did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They were not the solution to this contain at all. Alright, so he's now 4-basing Airneanach. He's got vision everywhere with lings. He's got a very nice contain. Cracklings, I think, are going to do very little against Airneanach's own cracklings. More lurkers moving into position. I think the only thing that's doing anything for him, destroyer that is these guardians. These guardians' range is giving him an opportunity to pick off units as they move forward. And they're +1 guardians, so as soon as the overlords give him some line of sight, he can pick them off. Problem is, if he has enough Hydras, he can then move into position to hit the guard. So the guardian mustn't go too far forward. This is a problem. They're too far forward. The Hydras are getting a lot of free shots. The links come into tank, but the links just get evaporated by spines. More reinforcements are on the way. My concern for Destroyer is he's not making anything other than links, first of all, and he's just running out of guardian. He's making more mutas, I think, for the same reason that I'm saying it's a problem that he's running out, because I think he's realized that his only unit that's getting anywhere, any penetration against this Lurker Hydra contained strategy of Airneanach is the Guardians, but they take time to make. You've got to make mutas, and you've got to convert them into Guardians, and I'm concerned now that he's run out of money. He's got this base, which has got 4 drones at it. 3 of them are sleeping. He's got this base with these idle drones that he can't get to that base. He doesn't have a nidus that connects them. He should probably think to build one so that he could get them across, because otherwise he's going to run out of money really soon. Airneanach has got money to burn. He's got plenty of mining bases. The reason he has a gas deficit, he doesn't have anybody on gas there. He does have on gas here. He does have on gas here. But yeah, that's my concern here is, oh no, somebody moved up into range of these Sunkens, and that was the end of their lives. I think it was these Hydras. Alright, so we've been trying to create some space, I think, which is why that was killed by his own Sunkens. We're moving forward with a few more Sunkens. I think this is now building up to the final fight. Good Scourge hits on the Guardians. Okay, so this is now Airneanach being really smart, identifying that Destroyer's only play is to build more Guardians. So he's neutralizing that and starving him out, because he's just going to make Guardians until he can't make any more units. And Airneanach is in a position to send endless Scourge, with the exception of the fact that they cost so much gas. I think this is just a straggler. Uh-oh, Lurkers. Oh, it's his own Lurkers. Never mind. Wow, that one's got 20 kills. Don't go up there, though. Don't go up. Not a good place to go. You just park off here with your buddies. So a very good containment. This game will go to Airneanach. He's certainly going to win this. And I think that then will level the series up at 1 apiece. And take us to a decider. So I think it's just inevitable now that this game will end. I think he's going to add another hatchery over here. He's just too far ahead. He's out of sight for Destroyer. Destroyer's got no money. It's barely mining from this one base. So it's literally just a matter of time before Airneanach throws in the killing blow, which I think will be any moment now. Oh, we're moving in some drones. What are we going to do with these drones? Are we going to try and nidus them? Where does the other side of this... Ah, okay. So that's a good job. He did build a nidus. So he will have more drone saturation on this one base. Problem is, yes, okay, so he's got more workers working, which is good. But he doesn't have 1, 2, 3 mining bases and a bank. He just has 1 and no bank. So the saturation that's on this base means that he will run out of money very soon. Alright, so he's moving in, and I think this will be where this game ends. If he can pull all his units together, and you include these Hydras in the fight as well, and maybe reposition these lurkers slightly further forward. Once the overlord is picked off, let's see what else is rallying forward. What's this clunker pink? Yeah, okay. So the plan is to send the Scourge in to wreck the overlords and the guardians, and then he's going to follow in with these Hydras, and he's going to end the game. So let's see if that's my prediction is right. Bye overlord, bye guardian, bye guardians, bye guardians. Alright, so all the guardians are gone. Alright, so he has just put some more lurkers over here. These are destroyers lurkers. Gee whiz. Okay, so let's get some protection against the lurker curse that has been plaguing me all game. So 128 versus 47. Wow, this really has been a very, very, very strong performance from Airneanach. Okay, so what's he going to do? Is he going to move in? Or is he going to wait? I don't know what he's waiting for. He literally has every feasible advantage you could have in this game. Alright, so he's moving out. I don't think his Hydras even have speed, because he's not really played with Hydras. Okay, so there go. Those Hydras wrecked by those lurkers. Ouch. 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 It's just a matter of time. Okay, and Destroyer taps out. Alright, time for game 3. Okay, game 3, and we're on Plasma 1.0, which I think is a weird map that has these eggs in the middle, and you need to drone drill through. I think that's on the one. It was in the ladder pool a year or so ago, maybe. I recognize this high ground start. Alright, so Destroyer is sticking to his green color, and Airneanach is sticking to his pink color. This is the decider. This drone is not working. I think that's a misclick, or Destroyer is not looking. The casters are going to be so confused. Yes, Destroyer. In fact, we are very confused. It has been the strangest games, the strangest set of ZVZs I have ever watched, let alone cast. Remind me not to cast a series. Well, you shouldn't cast a series, mate. You played the games. That's kind of the whole thing. You cannot cast knowing what's happening or going to happen. It's just going to impact your ability to call it and to act as genuinely surprised and entertained as I am. Yes, Plasma is very much a WTF map. I agree with that 100%. I'm enjoying the chat from the players. I think hopefully it doesn't distract them too much from what they're trying to do, which I don't even know what that is, by the way. So we have Overlords coming for both players. We're sending out our Overlords to scout. Both are scouting towards there. I don't know how many starting positions there are on this map. I think there's 3. But this map is weird as. Look at this thing. You've got all these strange eggs that block your ability to get anywhere. There are 3 spawning. I think 3 starting positions. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, so the Overlord's going across here. I think it's an overpool. Sorry, a hatch first. I think that's the only way you have to start. Hey, how are you, Airneanach? From the future? Yes. What's up? Talk to me. I'm listening. XP? What the hell does XP mean? A good experience. Let's go. Alright, so we are getting a spawning pool and gas from Airneanach. And on this side, we are getting a hatchery first. Okay, so he's been very, very consistent with that play. Hatch first into pool. So we are going back to the player's vision. Okay, so the pool is down, the gas is there. So where is he going to build his second hatchery? We will have to see. So have the players found each other yet? The answer to that would be no. Neither player's overlord has got to the other base. I don't think it's going to matter that much, to be very honest. So on a map like this where it's very difficult to get through the eggs, I don't know what the right strategy is, honestly. If it's air only, if it's drops, if it's a combination of the two. I know that when I played this, I vetoed this map. I'm a Protoss player, and I just found playing this map was absolute horseshit. So I've not watched or played many games on it, but we have a lair rush for Airneanach. I think for the reason that he's going to want to go Spire. We do not have a lair rush for Destroyer. He is getting his gas. And so at this stage, potentially... Oh, he's gone into 3 hatches really quickly on 3 resource-based spots. In other words, there's not a single in-base production. I think that's a mistake, because if your opponent rushes lair, you're going to have spores in 3 places, and that's a disaster. And it also means that you could lose one of your hatcheries, which is quite literally a third of your ability to produce attacking units, which is going to be a challenge. So he is getting the Evo chamber, so it does mean he'll be able to make spores, but I think the economic damage that's going to do is just going to be too much. So going to Spire, Airneanach, my prediction here is he's going to be able to win this game potentially quite early if Destroyer is not able to respond. And he has not seen this Spire building, I don't think. He has walked down here with his Overlord, and then you saw he went that way. So, oops, let's put everybody's vision back on. Meanwhile, Airneanach has seen, oh, okay, so my opponent has, okay, so I think he's assumed just because there's an early lair that he's going Spire, so he's just throwing down spores in his main, and that's going to hit that Overlord, and he's throwing down spores here. But he's going to have to throw spores in 3 places. That's 6 spore colonies, that's 6 drones. It is just a huge investment. Has Airneanach got, okay, so his Spire is almost done. He's got 5 meters worth of gas. The one thing I would have hoped he would have done, which in hindsight I think if he played this map more often he would have done as well, is if he was going to drop the natural, drop it there, because then he can get that gas going as well. Especially if you want to go mutas on this map, which is, I mean, probably 100% the right way to play it. So that's a little bit unfortunate. So we're attacking our own Sunken, or no. This is Airneanach being tricky with a drone that he's drilled through. Of course, this is Zerg versus Zerg, so you can build on each other's creep. That was a trick that he tried, but Destroyer was wise to that and very quickly sent his Zerglings to tidy it up. Okay, so here come the first flock of Mutalisks. There are spores everywhere, so it's going to be interesting to see his control, what he does, how many he builds, where he chooses to focus fire. Overlords are a good bet. Every base is protected by 2 spores. So let's see. Alright, so he's picked off an Overlord, nicely done. Is he gonna... no. I think, does he just wait for enough mutas to kill a spore? Because I don't know if they're in range of each other. So if you're in range of this one, will this one hit you? Maybe. He's adding another one. Okay, so it's spore galore here. This is what we're seeing from Destroyer. He's got no way to hurt his opponent. He literally can only defend. So he's now getting his own lair, but he spent so much money on spores that he's going to have to save up minerals. He's got plenty of gas. He's going to have to save up minerals for a Spire to be able to get his own Mutalisk out. So let's see. Is there any defensive play or no? So he's literally had the freedom to build mutas, take full map control, not build a single creep. Okay, he's got some sleeping drones, probably just a misrally. And he's able to just simply keep producing, mining, maybe adding a few drones. Potentially what I would think he should do is add 1, possibly even 2 more hatcheries, just to give him so much production, because he's got all the map control you could possibly want. I would just keep flying in here just to track the progress of the Spire, that's all. But you know, you're not going to see Mutalisks in a long time, and if you do, you're always going to have way more, so you have going to have no threat. Okay, but just getting shot in the face by spores all the time is not really a good idea either. I think Airneanach just needs to add production facilities. There's a hatchery, okay, so good chap, he's adding 1. He could go to where the gas is, over here. If he knows that that's there, I'm sure he does, and add a 4th, and just go up to 4. Early new players, Zerg versus Zerg, 4 hatch production. That is my honest recommendation on about 20 to 25 drones. My honest recommendation, as opposed to the different other recommendation that I would make. Anyway, I'm not a Zerg player, but just looking at the macro dynamics of the set, both players have always been more or less one hatchery short and have always been sitting with a bank of cash. When the player has taken the lead and been able to spend their money, generally speaking from my observation, it's been when they have been on 4 hatches. Alright, so we are going to take 47 hours and 25 minutes to kill these eggs that have got bulletproof armor. Look at this. I mean, by the time they're done with this, these Zerglings are going to be so tired and their claws are going to have fallen off. Alright, so what's Airneanach's move here? Aside from banking up a lot of cash, he is killing eggs. Destroyer has overtaken him by having more drones, having more hatcheries, and having more mining bases with better saturation. And now, kicking off Overlord. And my initial prediction that Airneanach was going to run away with this, I'm now starting to doubt myself very heavily because we're wasting a lot of time trying to kill eggs over here. We've got 2 Mutalists over here, which means the others died? To spores, presumably? Because, I mean, I don't know where else they would be. But now, Destroyer is suddenly going, well, hang on, what do you have? You've got Zergling and 2 Mutalists? And where are your spores, buddy? So again, no Overlords. So, well, now he's got capacity to build units, but he's not building anything. There's just idle lava, idle lava. Now he's got some... now he's done around a macro. But again, one hatchery short, and I think this is GG. Just by not spending your money, you got a huge lead, but didn't capitalize, didn't macro, didn't get enough hatchery. And Destroyer, also known as Deadinfested, is going to take the set. The Hydras have arrived now, and they served them really well in the previous sets, but there's not enough. There's too many mutas, and I think this is going to be the end of it. Here come more, and these hatcheries are going to die. Those drones are dead. These drones will be picked up next. This production, losing this production is critical, and these overlords, drones. Oh man, Airneanach is in huge trouble. I think it's the worst feeling in the world to die with a bang. But GG to both players. Very entertaining series. I really enjoyed it. Well done to Destroyer for taking it 2-1. If you enjoyed this cast of the No Worries Ladder Tournament, let me know. Leave a like. Subscribe to the channel. Love to hear your comments. And I will bring more action from this league in the coming weeks. Take care. I've been Rabbit Roo. Cheers.